Hello, everybody. My name is Alanna Levenson with I Love My Life Coaching. I am a leadership coach and business coach, and I am here with a peer.
Karen Astromsky.
And we are here because, well, she'll say more too about how we met, but we met in a program together, and it's such a great opportunity for networking, which we'll also get to go deeper on. We realize that we have some similar passions and a similar energy about things, even though we also have different perspectives. And we just thought it'd be kind of fun to come on here and record a conversation, hearing two experienced coaches that have been around doing this for a while to hear us talk about a couple of very current and relevant things. So, on that note, Karen, do you want to say a little bit more about how we met?
Yeah. So again, we were in a program together and we just kept seeing each other on the little Zoom Hollywood Squares for those
Yes.
I'm dating myself here, right?
Yep. Nope. Same.
And so our questions about our own unique businesses, I do speaking and coaching as well, mindset coaching, transformation coaching. We just found out we had similarities and we wanted to share our knowledge with each other, and how are you doing it and what are your struggles, and actually network with each other even though we didn't join this group to be networking with each other. It's a byproduct of being in the group.
Yes, it is. In
Mhm.
fact, this is the third group I've joined, and what I'm realizing is that there can be a community aspect to them. And although in the last group I was in, I'm still connected to some of those people. Uh, for some reason, there's something about this one. The energy is different. That we're actually creating deeper, longer term, I think, relationships and
Mhm.
collaborating and partnering. And so I thought that this was kind
Mhm.
of a fun uh, ad hoc podcast type episode conversation, if you will,
Mhm.
that maybe some people will take some nuggets from, because we're going to address various things that, yes, if you're a coach watching or listening to this, you'll probably glean some things or be like, oh my God, me too. Or if you're a business owner, you might be running into some similar things also. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So, one of the things that Karen and I were talking about was authenticity. And these days, I'm a geek about heart science. I've always been a geek about brain science. And now I'm even more of a geek about heart science, in discovering that more information travels from our heart to our brain, and that the electromagnetic frequency of our heart is actually 60 times more powerful than the electromagnetic frequency coming from here. That's super interesting to me. I also recently learned that the frequency of authenticity is actually higher than the frequency of love. And no wonder it's a buzzword, not only in the coaching world, but also in the work world. And why I think these days, more than ever, people are drawn to and making an effort to be more of their authentic self, even though it's a very probably overutilized word. But what are your thoughts about that?
So, I'm an East Coast person who lives in the Midwest now, and I'm like a straight shooter with my communication. Like, I just say it. Okay. So I don't lie. I don't tell you I love your haircut if it sucks. I mean, I don't want to hurt people's feelings, but I don't do that. I speak my truth, right? I live in this alignment. And so I feel like there is such a short attention span on social media, whether you're talking LinkedIn,
Yep.
Facebook's, whatever. I don't do TikTok, but Facebook, Instagram, any of this stuff. It's like I got 2 seconds to kind of. And so if somebody is going to come out of the screen to me, it's going to be because they're authentic. There's something in their story that is a hook for me, and it's like, oh, there's a million yoga teachers online. There's a million public
Mhm.
speakers online. But why are you unique? And I feel like when you bring that out, that's why you make friends with somebody, because they're unique, and you're different than everyone else. And so I also think there's a big dark side. The shadow side of that is like, well, then people will know things about me that are secret, or people will know that sometimes I'm a total failure at this. So let me be the first to let everybody know, if you go to my YouTube channel and see videos of me doing yoga at the pandemic time, tell me how bad they look, because I already know they're bad. I never looked at them. And that was authentic. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just doing it.
Well, and in that regard too, since we're exposing ourselves in that way, and you know what, this has to do with me making the decision earlier this year. I can't believe it's almost the end of the year, but that I want to come out of hiding and make myself more visible so that people can know who I am. And unfortunately, it's a necessity, because if I want to compete in this online world with the gazillion other coaches out there, even though I've been doing this for 20 years, I have to. And speaking of YouTube channels, so I don't know if I was one of the first coaches to actually do videos on YouTube, but you can actually go to my channel, where I think I have like maybe 26 followers right now, but I think I have like 40 videos and I'm building. But I actually did my first videos back in 2009. And so talk about terrible. And I have watched them. And you know what? I kept them there because what I shared is still relevant today, even though the quality is terrible. And on that note, when it comes to building an online presence and online marketing, and even doing things like creating a YouTube channel, I'm not an expert in it. I don't know if I ever will be. That said, even people that have, like I have a client who's got 217,000 followers on her YouTube channel, and she has a profitable paid TV subscription. She will even say that, a couple of years ago, you needed to have like this fancy studio and all this production, right? Set up, as well as the editing of the videos. And these days she's like, Alanna, people just want real and raw. And I'm like, well, good, because like this conversation, I said, well, I guess I can get a mic, and it does sound better than me just speaking through my screen on my laptop. Apart from that, we're just logged into Zoom. I hit record, right? And I'm going to download this to my computer and then upload it to my YouTube channel. And that is it. And yes, I'm learning how to do all the keywords and descriptions and all that stuff in YouTube. And I'm not quite there yet, but we're figuring it out. So, but we're showing up for ourselves, right? And it's a way for people to get to know us.
And also, it's, I was at a retreat with a kind of a popular coach. Her name is Susan Hyatt from Evansville, Indiana. I happened to live in Evansville, Indiana once upon a time in the dark ages. And I didn't know her then, but I know her now. And I was at a retreat in Chicago that she does called Finish Strong in October, like finish the year strong.
Nice.
And there was somebody else who was there who spoke for a while, and she said, doers do.
Yeah.
People who do, and people
do.
who don't. And so I think there's a TEDx talk about it as well. And so the deal is, if you're going to do something, everybody says this, and to anybody who's watching this going, oh, I'm never going to be right. Don't wait till you're ready. Don't wait till it's polished. Don't wait until you know all the answers. I don't know the answers because the questions change every year.
Oh God. Well, that marketing. Okay. So I've been doing this for 20 years, and I can say confidently that over the 20 years, I've noticed so far 3 different type of marketing trends, especially when it comes to websites or all that stuff. And I feel like there's one right now that's coming to a close. It's a process that you and I are going through right now. I'm not going to name it because it will throw a lot of people or processes under the bus, but I feel like it's at the end of its lifespan and it's not really working anymore. And what's part of it is because of AI coming into the fold, right? Which I will admit in the beginning, I was like, no, I don't want anything to do with it. And then after hearing people talk about it for months and months and months about it makes things easier. Well, I finally gave it a try, and I'm realizing how it does make some things easier, but there are things that I like about it and there are things that I don't like about it. So you and I were talking about that earlier. So I want to hear your thoughts first.
Yeah, I mean, for a cheat sheet for how to write a college term paper, hell no, do not do that. That's not a thing. Okay. But for getting a scaffolding, so to speak, of like, I want to flesh out these ideas. I could see, I'm a
Yes.
writer. I've written a book about change and transformation. It's easy for me to write. It's easy for me to do that stuff. Not everybody feels that way. AI is never, even if you prompt it with, make it sound like the girl next door, make it sound like Tony Robbins, make it sound like Oprah Winfrey. It's never going to sound like you until it is you.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's an assist, so to speak, but it's not the
Yes.
end. It's not the end game. And I feel with AI, we're going to get to a point where people want more authentic. Like,
Uh-huh.
send me that letter with crayon, please. I mean, it is going to be like, I want to see your hand touch this paper, physical paper. Like, there's going to be a weird thing that goes on because pendulum swings, right? And we're going to go to
Yes.
this place. And I always
Yes.
say, check the box. I'm not a robot.
Yep.
I'm not a
Yep.
robot. Don't confuse me with everyone else,
Well, and how
right?
sad that kids these days are not even being really taught how to write the alphabet or in cursive or anything like that. So it's actually quite scary how necessary it is for us to maintain that 100%. And even though AI has only been around for a short period, well, let me say this. From what I gather, I think AI has probably been around a heck of a lot longer than we think it has. And
Yep.
just say the military industrial complex has access to artificial intelligence that might be, I don't know, like 200 years beyond what they allow us to play with. That said, okay, so we've had access to, say, ChatGPT or whatever for a short period of time. So there's what we're playing with, and it's advancing quite quickly.
Mhm.
And I think in the very beginning, it was okay for people to just copy and paste, just copy and paste.
Mhm.
Now I think it's already turning into what you're talking about, where people are like, hold on a second, where's you? Where's the living being, unique personality, the warmth of who we are, right? As living beings, soulful beings. Uh, it's missing
The
that. It
human
feels,
connection.
yes, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
so that's one of the weird things. I met Alanna through a program online in the Hollywood squares of Zoom. And so if we like, would I have ever met her? I'm in Minneapolis, she's in
Probably,
Mexico.
yeah,
The two places start with the letter M. I don't know. No, it's not coming. It's not happening. We would not have ever met. So I'm grateful for all of the technology and the things that make this easier for us. That's good, but it will never trumps, sorry, the in-person connection, because that's magic,
yes, it
right?
is.
Right.
Yep.
That is real live magic. And one of the dangers as well with all of this stuff that we're talking about is like, well, I'm sitting behind my screen and I'm used to this impersonal kind of thing. No, don't get used to it. Don't get used to being impersonal,
Yeah.
because when you're a business owner or a speaker coach or whatever, like you're talking about, it's because of who you are, being who you are uniquely, warts and all, that I am drawn to you, right? Our vulnerability is our hook,
Yeah.
not our perfection, right?
Yes.
So that's something that we have to, we, again, with AI, we got to be really aware of this. Like, I don't want to
Yep.
play in the game of pretend here.
Yep. Yeah. No, we need to, yeah, it's so many things. Okay. So, well, one is on that. So I've been doing this for 20 years. What's interesting is most, if not all of my career, all my clients have come from either people that have met me, they see me speak, which I'm PS, I'm seeking more of those opportunities in person, by the way, or they get referred to me, which is amazing. And when I've talked to other coaches or market, like people say, Alanna, that's amazing. That's one of the hardest ways to get clients. So I'm thinking, really? Because that's the only way I've gotten them. And I'm starting to get traction online in terms of building my online presence, because I didn't really do that because I hid for such a long time and I got over myself. But on that note, uh, you know, you and I were talking about the marketing programs that we've invested in. It's like humbling to think of how much money. Let me think here. So 15, 9, that's 24. And then it's like, I'm probably at like 60,000 right now of investing in
I'm
marketing
close to
programs
50.
just in the last year and a half to 2 years. Now, this one, not necessarily in terms of lead gen quite yet, but I'm getting better. I'm doing things I wasn't doing before, and I'm getting better at certain things. So it's helping in some ways, and lots of great energy and things happening. Last program definitely got my return on my investment. First one was a complete dismal failure. I wish I could share the name. I will not. If you want to reach out to me directly, feel free. That said, I spent $15,000 on that program and literally only got about $1,000 back. And it was one of those things where it was over promising and under delivering. And information that was pre-recorded in these platforms was completely outdated. And I was not getting the help that I needed. And it was humbling. And as coaches, this is one of our weakest points because we're good at what we do. Well, not all coaches are good at coaching, but we're mostly good at what we do. And so marketing might not necessarily be an area that we're strong in. What are your thoughts or experiences about that?
So this is a really fine point. Most people who start a coaching business fail their coaching business, I think, within like 2 years. The
Yeah.
statistics are like unbelievable. Like, I
Yeah.
thought this was a great idea. I'm so good at this, blah, blah, blah. And why did they fail? Because they couldn't get their customers, their clients, their people. Why not? Because the marketing wasn't there. And most of my clients are adjacent to somehow they've known me. So totally true. And breaking into this online is a totally different animal. But what makes you a good coach is not what makes you a good marketer. They're two different animals, right? It's like being a really good marketer is all of this analytical stuff. It's all of this other kind of brain that you may not really, use as a coach. Like, I'm a heart-centered mindset coach. Like, I bring it from my heart to your heart. Like, this is where we're at together. Marketing, CRM, like what? Like, how about no? And
Yeah.
so there's that thing called zone of genius, right? That's
Yeah.
my coaching, that's my speaking. Zone of excellence, writing. Zone of incompetence, tech,
Yeah.
right? And
Well,
and
yeah.
so or whatever. And so being really smart about like how much of whatever it is that you can do going, I'm just good at that. And we talked about this a little bit before. If you're going to have a really thriving, growing to thriving practice of coaching, business, consulting, whatever you're doing here, you got to like it more than you don't like it.
Yeah. Yes. Because
Okay. I
otherwise,
mean,
might as well go get a job that you hate too. I mean, because then you have a
right,
steady.
right. I mean, right. Because it's all on you. Like, even on Saturday night, I'm like, well, I could be doing something for my business. You always could be doing something for your business, right?
Always. In fact, I do often do things for my business almost every day, whether it's posting on social media now, or because I don't have any, I mostly don't do, I only do sessions during the week. And I
Mhm.
give my weekends to
Me
myself
too.
and I get to spend it however I want. And sometimes it's actually working on stuff in my business because it's quiet and I don't have scheduled appointments where I'm focusing on my clients. Instead, I get to focus on me. And that's just a time where I can just let my brain and my creativity flow and I don't feel rushed because of time or using brain bandwidth on other things or other people. It's on myself. So yeah, you have to, you need to at least enjoy it to a certain extent
Yeah, you
because
you absolutely have to like it and like what you're doing. So to the point where we've both spent thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of, I think I'm up to 50 in several years' time. Okay, when I think about it. So to learn how to do this or that or the other thing, because it's technology, it's changing all the time. So 10 years from now, it's going to be a different animal. It's going to be a different way of doing it. It's whatever it is. It will be. It just has to be because it's always going to change. Um, Everybody has to decide for themselves, do I want to do that thing? This thing that this expert says is the thing is because they do it that way. That's why it's
right.
their thing, right? But for just as many people who say this is the way to do it, there's this many people who say this is the way to do it.
Oh my God. And it's so frustrating. It's like, cause I can't tell you how many times, like, especially in redoing my, say, LinkedIn banner. I've redone it probably 5 times in the past year and a half because everybody
I've done
seemed to
it
have an
more than
opinion.
that.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Yep. Yeah.
mhm.
Even in the same design, like, no, change this, add that color, that needs to be bold, take that out. It's like, oh my God. Yeah. And it's so confusing. What's the right way? So on
Mhm.
that, you said something brilliant earlier. about, we were talking about cracking the code or what's like the perfect formula. And you said so true, like some things that were just really brilliant. And those things were, uh, let's see, one is consistency, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
And go
when
ahead.
people are figuring out like where should I be? Where should I be to really spend my time? Because I cannot go full throttle on LinkedIn, Snapchat, is that a thing anymore? TikTok,
I don't
Instagram,
think so.
Facebook. Like I
Yeah.
cannot do that. And I cannot do a blog and a newsletter and a paid newsletter and Patreon and like, no, you can't. So there is no secret. The code is, where do I like to be?
Huh.
Where is that? Are my people there? Your ideal
Yes.
client avatar, your ICA, do they hang out there? So if
Yeah.
your ideal client is, 20-year-olds who want to make it big on TikTok, do not advertise on LinkedIn like that.
Right.
Like, hello, that's not okay. Or if you're on
Yeah.
LinkedIn and your business is boudoir photography, I don't know, is that a big thing on LinkedIn? Like, I don't think it is. Like maybe Instagram and Facebook. Okay. So you have to be really smart. And, I've heard people say, have your primary, whatever it is,
Yes.
and then maybe have a secondary where you play. I love to play on Instagram. I love to do little videos with captions. I love that. I put it on my Facebook. That to me is fun. So I like that. I
I
have
need to
gotten
learn how to do that. Will you teach me how to do
zero clients,
zero?
zero clients in 5 years doing it. But
Really?
I I started it during the pandemic with 3 breaths. I teach yoga and qigong. So I said we're going to do 3 breaths together. 3 breaths, that's it. 3 breaths. We did 3 breaths every single day for like a year. Breathe with me. Like that was it. And then I evolved into different things, different more mindset things. So I don't try to sell there. So that could be part of the problem. If you don't try to sell, people aren't going to buy what you
Maybe,
don't try to sell.
yeah, maybe we can talk about that. Well, so, but a couple thoughts. Okay. One is, yeah. Okay. So, I always tell people, ask for money every day. Get comfortable asking for money
Yes.
every day. Like,
Let's
if you,
stop there. Let's stop there
okay.
right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Money, energy.
Oh,
Okay, so
yes.
I
Yeah.
call it
That's a
money
whole other,
energy. I like to say
yes.
money energy because when you say money, people automatically go, that's dirty.
Uh-huh.
Or
It's
they
right.
say lack, right?
Yeah.
Scarcity energy. I don't have enough. Or they say people with money are bad because they don't do good things. Like, so there's so much that goes on with money
Yep.
energy, I'll call it.
Yep. Maybe that's
So
our next follow-up conversation. I'm gonna make
okay,
note of that.
money energy, right?
Yes.
It's
Okay.
just money energy. And so if you don't ask for it, you will never get it. It will
Yes.
not fall out of the sky.
Yes.
And so you do have to let people know you're selling, right? And this leads to that other topic of, are you selling yourself?
Yes. Right. Yes. We were talking those before we hit record. Karen and I were talking about this because there's lots of marketers out there, just like there are lots of coaches, and they all seem to have some interesting opinions. And one is like, no one will buy mindset from you. Don't sell mindset. Or um, uh, the one that you just said. I mean, it's very, 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 it's fascinating. Yeah.
The thing is, if you're the face of your business, we're not selling my face. This isn't what I'm selling.
No.
But you're going to buy my book about change and transformation because you like the way I talk about it.
Mhm.
Well, the way I talk about it is me. It's my
Mhm.
experiences. It's my life experiences. It's my failures. It's my successes. It's my point of view. It's my passion. So on the one hand, you're not your business. That's not who you are.
Right.
However, I'm buying your business, your offering because of you.
Well,
Yes, I am.
because you're the one that's doing it, right? Like we are, I hate that we're not the product. We're providing a service. That said, when somebody comes to I Love My Life coaching right now, I have had other coaches in my business, but right now I don't. Although next year I'm going to design a year-long program. I'm curious to see what that's going to look like because I'm in the the ideation phase right now, but right now it's just me. So if you come to I Love My Life coaching, you're going to get me. I'm going to coach you. So I am in essence my business. That said, one of the things I shared with you earlier when I'm coaching other people is, there needs to be that distinction between you and your business, for yourself, so that you don't feel like that's where your worthiness comes from, your joy, like,
Because
right? There's that.
because
Yeah, go ahead.
because because rejection is a
Ah,
huge part of money energy flowing.
yes. I mean, how often do we have to go through that? Often. And any
It,
coach out there who tries to give you the picture that like they're closing every single client or every single prospect that contacts them, I'd have a hard time believing that. But
well, I mean, how many stores do you go to? Every store? I live in Minneapolis, in Minnesota, the Mall of America. 99% of the stores I don't go in. I go into Nordstrom and Nordstrom Rack. I think we're done. Okay. I mean, it has every store in the world in there. It's the Mall of America. And so we have to think about that too as coaches. It's like, are you rejecting me when you reject my offer? I'm not rejecting you. I don't want that offer. Every time I go to the store and I don't buy Coca-Cola, I'm not rejecting Coca-Cola. I just don't want any Coke right now. Right?
forever. Yeah.
Or right. But you know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yes.
so it's a very fine line for coaches, especially if you're new, because you take this very personally. I'm putting myself out
Well,
there.
yeah. Yeah.
I need to share myself, not just what my successes are. I need to share my vulnerabilities. We
Yes.
all started out really raw. We all started out thinking it was going to be this. We all thought that promises that people made to us were going to be fulfilled.
And we thought it was going to be a lot easier than it was. Like,
Oh my gosh.
you
Oh
said
my
something,
gosh.
right? So earlier, when I think back to when I got certified back in 2008, long time ago, even though I've been coaching since 2005, so 20 years, but I decided to get certified. And back then I only found two programs. I really researched both of them and made my decision about one. But out of that class, and I think there was maybe about 20 of us, I think there was only maybe 4 or 5 of us that actually went on to create a coaching business. And other people, I think that was their intention. And I don't know if it's because they didn't have what it took to do this as a business, because people just fall in love with it because of the craft itself. Oh, you're helping people. How wonderful. Yeah. And you're running a business. And then some of them went on to go do other things. Like one woman, she looks like she's a very successful real estate agent now. And so in some ways, maybe it was a personal development program in part of their
Yeah.
journey. Right.
Right.
But yeah, it's it's very interesting what's happened to our industry over the years, and even now. And talk about AI, they want to pull it in even more, and I'm like, oh, please no. But
Mm-hmm.
we'll see what happens with that. But any last thoughts about the formula for success that you want to share?
Right. If I knew the formula, I would be, sleeping with the man behind the green curtain, right? Like there again, I
Or
mean,
you'd be making
anybody,
$1 million on it. Yeah.
absolutely. Anybody who says, if you just do these three things, this is how I made $11 million with one LinkedIn post. This is how I sold my digital course in my sleep and made $12 million. No.
Yeah.
Let me tell it to you straight.
I call
No.
BS. Yeah.
No, you did not do that. You did not do one thing. And if you managed to say that you did that one thing, that was on the heels of years of work, trial and error. And finally, you happen to crack the code, flip the script, and
For
do that
yourself.
thing
Yeah.
for yourself, which is
For yourself.
great,
Yeah.
great. But it is a disservice to all the other coaches out there, all the other service providers, all the other business owners who anybody says, oh, yeah. In fact, I was just talking to somebody in our group today, and he said, this idea that you can just get booked and paid to speak on stages and it's just going to happen. And he listed years of doing this effort and never getting where he wanted to go. And not because he's not talented or skilled or whatever. So
No.
you have to be passionate about it. You have to be passionate about what you do, and you have to accept that there's 40% of what you're doing, 40%, says Brendan Bouchard, that you don't like.
Yeah,
when you're
so
when you're an
true.
entrepreneur.
Yep. I just had a team coaching call with the corporate team the other day where we were talking about strengths, and that strengths are not just something that you're good at, that to add the perspective that it's also something that's energizing for you. And that there's this when people ask me, well, are you supposed to feel that way 100% of the time? No, I don't have rose colored glasses on. That said, if you
Mhm,
can be there 60, 70% of the time, that's pretty good, right? With the
mhm.
reality of knowing that there's things in your job that you don't like doing. And it's the same for us entrepreneurs or solopreneurs or, small business owners that are running their own business. There are things that I don't love doing, and yet I need to do it because if I don't do it, no one else is going to do it unless I hire somebody to do it. And gratefully, I'm finally in a place where I can start to hire people to do certain things for me,
Mhm.
and hopefully I'll be able to continue to do that even more and build my own business, but that's the reality, right? So uh
Because when you
anyway.
start out, you don't have like, oh, here's my VA, virtual assistant. Oh, here or my marketing VA. Here's this person who's just doing all my socials or doing all my whatever. And yes, of course, there are companies that are going to do this for you. And of course, there are people who want to do this. I think I had some company that was trolling me that were like, yeah, it'll be $2,000 a month for us to do your socials. I'm like, I'm not making
No.
$2,000 a month. There, I just said it. Hello. No, I'm not paying you $2,000 a month to do the stuff that I actually like doing,
Right.
right? I like doing social media, certain aspects of it. This other marketing, different. So yeah.
Well, and there's the good news is there's something for everybody, right? Because there's coaches out there that
Yes.
don't love doing that stuff. And right. So, but I might want to, I hate the term pick your brain, but I might want to pick your brain on how you do those Instagram, because I just reactivated an Instagram account and trying to rebuild. And I think I again have like 25 followers.
We'll
So
do another talk about that because it's easy. It's actually so much easy.
perfect.
It's like this.
I love it. I
It
love it.
is.
Well, I made a note that being that we do this again, which was super fun, is we can talk about money and the energy of money.
It's money energy.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. And social media. Maybe that's another one too. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
so we'll see. So if whoever's watching this or listening to this, hopefully you took away, I don't know if there's any nuggets in here for learnings. Maybe it just validated some ways that you might be feeling. Maybe we hopefully exposed some truths that are happening in our industry where, everybody puts their best face forward online and it makes it look like everything's perfect. And I, I became successful overnight, that sort of thing. Not true at all. So
Right.
yeah.
And it's not a doom and gloom story. It's just, I mean, why do I still do this? Because I've been coaching for over 20 years, but on my own business for over 4 years, about 4 years. And I still, at this point, am not at the tipping point that I want to be. It's getting there. It's getting to that place, which is really great. It's grown, it's done things, I've learned things, but I'm not where I want to be, totally where I want to be yet. And so I've had a lot of personal growth through this. Of course, you're going to be handed your head and heart
And
on a
other
platter,
things. Yeah.
and your head and heart on a platter.
Yes.
And
It's
so that's just part of the journey. And as coaches, consultants, business owners, we have to do that with our clients.
Yep.
If we
Yeah, I
can't
have.
do it, we can't expect them to do it.
Yep. The program we're in right now is kicking my ass, but in a good way, right? Doing
Yep.
things I didn't do before, and I'm getting better at certain things, and I'm getting over myself, and feeling more confident in certain things. And it's funny, I've been given that feedback too. I had a client one time tell me, you should get a business card with the foot kicking a rear end on it, which she said it would love. And I appreciated that. But, it is what it is. And, again, if you are watching this or listening to this and you resonated with anything, we'd love to hear from you. Share with us what, your experience is, and how you related to this. And then,
And what you want to hear more from.
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. All right.
Okay.
Anything else, Karen?
That's it. Thanks, Alanna.
All right. Thank you. We'll see you guys again soon.